Well, it's an exciting day on 97.3 The Fan. We have some live broadcasts coming up from Baja Ricks. They are sponsored by Santo Tequila, and we are joined right now by one of the founders of Santo Tequila. I'm also told he's a musician of some sort. He is the Red Rocker. Sammy Hagar is with us here on 97.3 The Fan in Benham Woods. Sammy, it is so great to have you on.
Hey, thanks. I thought you said magician. That's more like it. You know what I mean? I can get things done. And people say, wow, how did you do that? I go, I don't know how I did it, but I know how to do it. You know what I mean?
That's
That's
right.
my claim to fame. I can do probably damn near anything if I don't think about it too much, and that's kind of like a magician over a musician. I also play music though. Yeah. It's one of
So
my
tell us
hobbies.
quickly about Santo Tequila. I know the celebrity tequila industry is pretty competitive nowadays, but this is something you've been doing for a while. So tell our listeners just a little bit about what you've got going.
Well, Santo, in my opinion, is the greatest tequila on the planet. And, I started making tequila in 1988 with Cabo Wabo and wrote the song with Van Halen, Cabo Wabo, built the cantina, had my own brand, sold it to Grupo Campari about 13, 14 years ago. Um, so I've been doing this so long, and everybody says, well, what makes your tequila great? And I said, it just made the right way. Guy and I are on the same page about this. It's not about how much you can make. The way we make our tequila, we couldn't make a million cases. I'm going to be straight up honest. It's like, don't try to buy this brand and say, oh yeah, we'll turn it into a million selling brand because these guys are under producing. We're not underproducing. We're making as fast as we can and as much as we can. But it's handmade, and it's the agaves are more ripe. People are using really small agaves nowadays. They put sugar in it. They put agave syrup, which is to make it 100% agave. Sometimes they even use grain alcohols. Blah blah blah. To make real tequila, everyone says, "Well, we're additive free." Well, that's tequila. Tequila's supposed to be additive free. So you just make it just yeast, water, and agave. And a ripe agave makes it better. Good water makes it better. The distilling process, of course, is always important. And I think the most important thing is the way we bake our agave and the way we cut it tight. All that green stuff. Those big old spiny things. There's people now they just throw everything there because there's such a shortage of agave. But we trim it down real tight because that green stuff's bitter, and you got to add sugar sometimes or some kind of a sweetener to make it palatable. But tequila's not supposed to be like drink. Oh man, this is delicious. Well, it's more like, whoo, man, that's good tequila. You know what I mean? That's tequila. Stop it. With all this, oh, it's so smooth and this is delicious. You got to put a lot of crap in it to make it real smooth and real delicious, but we don't do that.
Man, I love that we're sitting here talking to you. I've been a fan of yours since I was a kid. I mean, Sammy, I'm 50 years old. You're celebrating
What's happening, young man?
I know. You're celebrating a birthday in October.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. How do you do it, dude? You're 78 years old in October. You look better than any of us combined. You move better. You sound better. You certainly have more energy. What is the secret other than tequila? Because that's not going to work for me, man, at this point. But for you, like your passion for what you do is so admirable, man. It really is, and it always has been.
Well, thank you. I don't have any secrets, and it certainly isn't tequila. I would love to sit there and promote myself and say, here, wait a minute. I mean, you drink this, and you can be like me. Well, no, you can't. But you can drink this. But the thing is like, if you drink that, then you'll be like me, like at night when I'm drunk.
Right, right, right.
Now, I'm a moderation guy. Number one, I've been a exercise freak my whole life. I run around on stage for 2 hours, jumping all over the place and dancing, and I've never stopped, and I never stop, and I'm not gonna stop. So it's like, um, I think that's what keeps me young. I got good genes, I guess, but I don't know. People keep asking me all the time. I'm a kind of a supplement kind of guy. I take some certain kinds of supplements, and I'm actually creating a supplement pack for myself. I've been working with some, guys that chemists and stuff that they checking my blood, checking everything, and say you need more of this, you need less of this, you should do. And I'm actually trying to hone it down to the perfect formula. And I think it's important that you take care of yourself like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I
no
mean, I'm not
doubt.
a science freak. I ain't like doing crazy stuff other
Right.
than rock and roll. But
But I wanted to ask you too. I mean, you talk about, hey, what a segue here, the perfect formula, and the story of you and how you joined Van Halen is truly rock and roll legend. Your Ferrari mechanic was also Eddie Van Halen's Lamborghini mechanic, and you were out, and Eddie, David Lee Roth left the band. They were looking for singers, and this guy said, "Hey, you should call Sammy Hagar." Eddie Van Halen goes into the office and calls you right then. And then what happens?
The rest is history. Five number one albums, 47 million records sold, sold out every concert venue in the world. That's what happened. We made some great records. We hit it off. But when Eddie called me, I had just come off my biggest tour, VOA, three platinum albums in a row.
Yeah.
And it was a big tour for me. And I hate to brag about, but I made a lot of money. And I was thinking, I'm going to slow down. I went and cut all my damn hair off. And I said,
Yep.
I got to go pick up my car in LA. And it was, I knew it was down there. And, I was thinking, and when Eddie called me, I'm going, dude, this is really bad timing. I'm a big fan of you, not your singer, but you. And, and I would love to play with you, and maybe you can play on my record when I get ready to, when I, come back to work. I'm taking a year off. And he goes, oh man, well, can you come down like tomorrow? And I'm going, what? I thought, well, I got to go get my car. So, okay, maybe I'll work this out. And I walk in the damn studio, and these guys have been up all night, and they start playing the music to Summer Nights and
Oh,
Good Enough, the two first songs we wrote. They didn't have any words or no ideas about lyrics or anything. And I just started singing Summer Nights in my radio. And they're going, whoa, man, you can hit that note. You can do this. You can do that. Yeah, yeah. And we jammed for probably 12 hours without taking a break. I went back home that night on the last flight because it was too late. I didn't want to drive my damn car. And I knew I was coming back the next day or next couple days because I fell in love with it, with those guys and what they were doing. And that's the story. I don't think I've ever quite told about how it really felt that first day. We just went, yeah. There was no question. It wasn't like, well, let me think about this. I have goosebumps on my legs right now. And that was what, 20 some years ago? I don't know when it was. 88, 80, no, 85,
yeah.
1985. And I'm sitting here going, wow, I got goosebumps just remembered because there was no doubt that this was great and a great marriage. And it was for 9 years. Hey, that's a pretty long marriage. You know what I mean?
It is. It is. Yeah, that's actually not too bad. And it's funny, man, because I grew up in the Dallas Fort Worth area. And in December of 1991, I vividly remember several of my friends ditching school. I didn't. I wasn't. I just couldn't ditch. I just couldn't find it within me to ditch to go down to see Van Halen play a free concert in the West End of my hometown to 80,000 people. Now, you promised that free concert, and that almost
Yeah.
got you. That almost got you killed. That promise that you made.
Yeah. It was so funny. I got really hurt on the first Monsters of Rock tour. We had a brand new stage and everything. We had all these stairs, these metal stairs that went up to the sides where you could go up in this blah blah blah. Anyway, big production. And but we didn't get a chance to rehearse on it because it was late. Everything was late. So the first show, I'm running around the first damn song. I believe it might have been Summer Nights, quite honestly, and the opening track. I really think it was actually. It's so funny. I picked that song again, and I was walking backwards, and I tripped over something, and I hit my tailbone on a corner of a steel step that was sharp, and it just ruptured my bottom vertebrae and almost paralyzed me for the whole tour. And I kept having to go to doctors every day. I'd have to get cortisone shot in my vertebrae. I would
Oh,
have to take, muscle relaxers at night so I could get position where I could sleep. I couldn't sit on the toilet too long, brother. It was like it was hell. And I got sick and I couldn't sing halfway through the thing. I had a throat, a sinus infection, an ear infection from flying back and forth to my doctors, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't sing a lick. I walked out in Texas Jam, 70,000 people, opened my mouth, and there was nothing there. And I tried and I tried, and I held the audience. I held the microphone up. The audience sang every damn word for me. It was beautiful. They always do anyway. And I said, I swear to God, I will come back and do a free concert. And the guys are looking at me, man. The band, I come off stage, my manager, one of his eyes is kind of big. He's got a cigarette in his mouth. He's like, dude, you know what? This is going to cost us. And I said, I don't care. We're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And quite honestly, it did. It really caused tension in the band. But when we did it afterwards, we were so happy and so jacked because it was such a cool show, man. We just had a jive tractor trailer bed. I think we were playing on.
Yeah.
It was so down and dirty, no lights. It was just, yeah, it was pretty
It,
cool.
it's one of my biggest regrets. Out of all the bad things I did when I was a kid, that's the one day I decided to be a good kid and stay in school. And I should have gone down to see you guys kicking ass in the West End. And I'll regret it forever. But I know it's out on. I can go buy the record of it. It's not the same as being there like some of my buddies were. But Sammy, we won't keep you too much longer, man. But I know you're doing a residency in Vegas, which I think is amazing. And I wanted to talk for 1 second. I grew up a Van Halen fan. I grew up your era Van Halen fan as well, and a solo artist, all of it, Montrose. But man, you're still playing with Michael Anthony, who, in my opinion, is like he's like one of the most underrated guys in rock and roll history. The harmonies, the bass, the musicianship. I just want to give you a chance to speak on a guy that's always been one of my favorites, the great Michael Anthony.
Well, for the day I walked into Van Halen, it was all about Eddie and I writing the songs. But after we finished rehearsing and after we finished recording or having a meeting, it was Mike and I that went out.
Yeah,
And so we're kind of brothers from day one. And I used to always say Ed and Al are like step brothers. Mike and I are real brothers. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
I made all kinds of jokes about the whole thing. But long story short, Mike, his voice is so good. He's one of the few guys that can sing above me. I sing in that's crazy supersonic range, and he can go above me, and it's a sound like no one else. When you hear Michael Anthony's background vocals in Van Halen, that's all Michael Anthony. And we finally captured it on our last couple records, and on the live uh, record we're releasing October 10th. I think it's called The Residency, the Best of All Worlds band, The Residency, and you hear his voice because we've been working on trying to get it live without backing tracks. And so we got this guy named Ray Thistlethwaite from Australia, and he sings a lot like me. And so when he harmonizes with Mike, we get the sound finally, like
yeah.
because what you do in the studio is one thing. Um, Eddie used to harmonize good with Mike. Some guys don't harmonize good with Mike because his voice is unique. But anyway, he's such a great singer. He sings right on pitch. He's one of the best musicians I've ever played with. I'm talking about Joe Satriani, Eddie Van Halen. Mikey on bass is that good. He's not
Yeah.
an innovator. He's not a songwriter. He's a badass, just musician. He can play, and he learns so fast. Eddie Van Halen's licks, one note change every time you play it. It's so intricate. And he'd in the studio, he'd go to Mike, and Mike go, yeah, I got it. Mike had it. Like, boom. I'll be going, this guy's insane. He's,
Nuts.
he's like got a photographic memory or something. And he's the greatest guy in the world. He's first guy there, last guy to leave, gets on stage, gives it up every time. And he's a good human being. There you
I
go.
love that, man.
This
I
has been
love it.
such a treat. Sammy, I've got one question. You can tell Woods is our music guy. I don't know a ton about rock music, but
You
I've
got
always
to
had this question. I've never
you
had a
got to
chance
educate
to.
him. Educate him. We
I
got to
try.
educate him.
He
We've been
tries to. He
trying.
really does.
Every
I never
day.
had a chance to interview a rock icon. I don't know if people know. You very humble beginnings in Salinas, California. You start just as a musician, a singer, a guitar player. At what point do you wake up and realize, wait, I am a rock star? Like, is there a
Yeah.
moment where you go, wait, I'm now a rock star?
You guys are going to think I'm trying to be humble. I'm not trying to be humble. I have never felt like a rock star in my life except on stage when people start going, Sammy, Sammy, and they stand up and sing, and I see all those beautiful faces. But when just going through my normal life, I don't feel like a rock star, and I kind of don't want to be a rock star full time. I know a lot of guys that are full time rock stars,
Oh yeah.
and as they get older, they start really looking kind of stupid. I'm sorry, it don't work in your 70s going around acting like you're some hot dude and all these chicks are going to be coming after you and all this stuff. Even though they probably still do, but they're not 20-year-olds anymore. Okay, I love it. I love my fans. I love my life, and I don't mind being called a rock star. But I like to say in my head and my heart that, yeah, I used to be a big rock star, and I'm still as big, but I'm not a rock star anymore. I don't live that lifestyle. And I like doing things for people. I'm really big on helping people and feeding children and helping terminally ill children with all my restaurants. It's what I do. I help families that have terminally ill children that run out of medical, and I give a lot of money to food banks from every show I play since for the last 15 years. I write a check to the local food bank, and I recommend other people start doing that kind of stuff. And it's about reaching down and lift somebody up. I try to lift people's spirits up when I write songs. When I walk on stage, I want to make people happy. I'm not up there to talk politics. I'm not up there to start any controversial crap, man. I'm on saying we're here for a good time. When you walk out of here, you're gonna feel good for 3 days. And other than a good bottle of tequila, nothing else is gonna nurse you like that long.
Man, you've made us so happy. It's been such an honor and privilege to talk to you. It's just crazy that we get to do this. And thank you for your time. Let you get back to your day. You're an icon and a legend, man, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of other people too. Thank you so much.
Okay, Bennett, Tom, now just don't let anyone drink anything but this. This is my only
Done.
request. The
It's
other
done.
stuff will give you a headache and it'll make you fall down and hurt your back. That's what
All
John
right.
Wayne said about bad tequila. He said, the bad stuff will make you fall down and hurt your back. This won't make you fall down and hurt your back. You might fall down, but you won't hurt your back.
I
You
love it.
won't
Thank
feel.
you. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy.
All right,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you
All
guys.
right. Have a good one, man.
I am so far.